All right, shalom, shalom, everybody. We're going to jump into it. Bam, if you don't mind.
Heavenly Father, I want to say thank you for the many blessings that you stored upon us. Thank you for being Yah and Yah all by yourself. Thank you for what you've done, you're doing, and what you're going to do. We ask you to let your truth come forward and let us take this lesson and chew the cud on everything that you bring to us, Heavenly Father. Please forgive us for all our sins. Let us do the things pleasing unto you, Heavenly Father. And these are the blessings of our Son, Yeshua name. Amen.
So again, Shabbat Shalom. We're going to jump into Matthew 24 because there's like 3 videos. I don't know if I'm going to show the second one until maybe I might show it later. But one of them for sure, because these deceptions are going to get more deceptive. So as we go to Matthew 24, we're going to read verses 1 through 13. And Yahushua went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple, because they were so proud of that temple, right? And Yahushua said unto them, see you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat up on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? Right, this is the one thing that everybody's been looking for, the end of the world or the age. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. When they ask him those 3 questions, why is that his first response?
Because people going to get tricked.
Because there's a lot of tomfoolery. Yeah, make sure the mic is on though. Keep it on so they can hear you. Yeah. So people don't be deceived, right? So then Mashiach says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. We are in that age of that deception growing. Because in the quote-unquote Jewish community and in the Christian evangelical community, they're preparing for the Jewish Messiah, right? You know, we talked about it before. There's one video where I had 2 of them, but I took one of them off, where basically this Jewish rabbi is letting us know that this is the time to where the Messiah is about to come up on the world stage.
You talking about the ones in New York?
Huh? We'll see. We'll see.
Like Smyrna and
and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. That's what we're preparing for, World War III right now, right? See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now, this is like a key point that people kind of look over. Then he says in verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And we know that part of this has been fulfilled way back then, even to now, because we're still hated without a cause for no reason, right? So then he says, and then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and hate one another. We know that's happening every day now. Every doggone day. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. I'm going to show y'all one. And because iniquity shall abound, iniquity means sin or the guilt or the punishment of sin, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So endurance is key. I know it kind of feels like we keep going over a lot of the same things, because I'm telling you, once all this stuff really starts coming out, it's going to be like, man, we got to this and that. No, they are not the people. You are the people. Over and over again, you are the people. Your children should know we the people, right? We got to stay in that. So before we watch any video, fair use, this is for educational and training purposes. Again, fair use, this is for educational and training purposes. So I'm gonna show y'all this short, things like a 7-minute video by this rabbi, and he's talking about the things that's going on between Iran, Israel, and the United States. But all this has to do with the Messiah coming to the forefront, right?
And you know, they already sacrificed one of the cows.
Yeah, the red heifer. They're already doing the red heifer. They're preparing to rebuild the temple.
But it was a, what do you call that, practice run, but they actually sacrificed them and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like so.
The reason why it was a practice run, they actually found the black hair in them, so they couldn't sacrifice him as for the real thing, so they did a practice run and all that.
So it's a dry run. So now they have to wait for a couple of red heifers maybe. But again, we're gonna listen to what this guy says. Fair use. Wow.
On the minds of every Jew, American, Iranian, and every free-minded person. Right now, we are all concerned about the war in Israel, and particularly about the war Israel and Iran. To share a few thoughts on this situation. We said many times that this is not a physical war, it's a spiritual war. And therefore each one of us needs to take part in this war. It's a war of light over darkness, good over evil. And it is no wonder that the war actually started on June 13th, which is 6/13 on the solar calendar, which implies the 613 commandments of the Torah. That we need to participate in this war by increasing in acts of goodness and kindness and following the laws of Torah. Furthermore, the meaning of chayal, which is a soldier, or chayalim, which are soldiers, is chayal is an acronym for Chosid Yerushalayim V'Lamdin, which means one who is pious, God-fearing, and a Torah scholar. In other words, how do we fight the spiritual battle? Number one, by being a Chosid, by giving charity, acts of goodness and kindness. Number two, Yerushalayim, which is accepting the yoke of God, which is primarily through prayer. And three is Lamdan, which is to study Torah. So these three things make us into a chayal, make us into a soldier. And by doing so, we are giving strength and sending energy to Israel to bring salvation and victory. There's a powerful Targum Yonason, and he says like this: when God put Abraham to sleep at the time of the Bris Ben HaBesarim, by the covenant of the parts, where God told and prophesied to Abraham the future of the Jewish people until the end of time. It says over there that the sun began to set and a tremendous fear fell upon Abraham. Says the Targum Yonason that these four words, Ema, which means fear, and darkness, and big, and fallen, represents the four different exiles of the Jewish people. Ema, fear, represents Babylon. Chashecha, darkness, represents Madai. Gedola, big, represents Yavan, Greece. And Nepheles, to fall, says the Targum Yonason. This is the kingdom of Paras, which is Persia, Iran, which will fall in the end, and v'loi tiyah tukuma la'olmei elamim, and will never again rise. So this is, according to the Targum Yonason, the final battle. The final battle of good over evil is this battle that America and Israel are now fighting, the battle of Paras, the battle of Persia, the battle of Iran. To quote the Yalkut Shimoni in Yeshaya and Isaiah, Remez Tuf Tzadik Tes, number 499. This was a Yalkut Shimoni that the Rebbe spoke about many years ago, in 91, at the Persian Gulf War, and now it is more relevant than ever before. Says the Yalkut Shimoni, Omar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak says, Shana Shemelech HaMashiach Nigla. The year that the Messiah is going to reveal himself. That year, Melech Paras, the king of Persia, the king of Iran, will create great havoc in the Middle East. And he's going to claim that he wants to destroy the entire world. Now, in those days, there were no nukes. But today, in modern terminology,
that the king of Persia is going to be threatening to kill everybody in the world.
He said he quoted somebody.
Yeah, he's quoting somebody, but that's not in the scripts though. Like he's adding all of that, like from it could be from the Mishnah or from the Talmud, one of them other writings, right? Babylonian Talmud, right?
When he mentioned America, didn't he say he was quoting from the Torah?
America's not in the Torah.
No, I'm saying at the time that he was talking at that talk point, wasn't he quoting from the Torah supposedly?
The only time he mentioned America, he said that America and Israel are going to war with Iran. That's the only thing that I had heard. Now, when he was talking about the Torah, he was talking about that this war officially started on June the 13th, and there's 613 commandments from the Torah. So they just try to manipulate, and they plan ahead. It's very seductive. But anyway, so he said like the coming of Messiah has to do with when the king of Persia, or Perez, basically threatens to destroy the world, is when the coming of Messiah is. And that ain't in there. I'm telling you, it's not. I mean, you can, unless you can find it, you can look up in the script yourself. It's not in there.
Test everything.
Say what?
Test everything.
You gotta
My
test
thing,
every
if you
spirit.
show me, bring something to me, I'm like, okay, show me that in scripture. You can't show me that in scripture, I don't want
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Like that was about all I can stomach. We're not even gonna get through the rest of it. But that was the main point. So they're tying everything to their Messiah, who is not the true Mashiach coming, right? Madness. So, huh?
Yeah,
He kept.
It
It was his movements. His
Yeah,
movements
he's
to me
not
was-
sure. He knows.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's like he's reading from
It's
a
almost
script.
like-
Yeah. That's
Like he's
Yeah.
being forced, paid, you know.
He's like
That-
nervous.
I thought it was AI at first, but I ain't gonna-
No, it's not. But so I'm going to show about 13 minutes of this next video. Now this is from the Watchman Reports, one of our people, whatever, and basically, especially going back to January 6th and all that, there's been a takeover, and we know that's been going on in our government, and she basically is just reporting some of the stuff. I didn't know if y'all were aware of this, so we are going to watch this one, well, at least half of it. Fair use.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, America is becoming increasingly more and more dangerous. What I'm about to show you is proof of that. What we see happening right now, unfortunately, it has to happen. I continue to bring these reminders that we are headed towards the end of this world. For those of you who are in the know, when we say that we are headed towards the end of this world, we know that there is another world that is going to come after this. But this thing is wrapping up, okay? This thing has to come to an end. It is getting increasingly wicked, not just here in America, but around the world. You're not going to believe this. This particular thing is very frightening. I'm just going to keep it real here. Very frightening. But the Most High is in control, and knowing that is enough for me to find comfort and peace in His promises. Now, this frightening thing that's happening, for everybody else, those who don't know the Most High, I mean, they better put their seatbelts on and go along for this ride, because it's going to be pretty bumpy. Go ahead and share this broadcast, everyone, so that others can join in on this topic with us. If you are a person searching for the truth and you are new to this channel, this is the right place to be. You are at the right place right now. I double dare you to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be notified each and every time we upload or go live. Now, I want to say this too. all of those so-called black and Latino Trump supporters, all these women who were supporters of Trump, and all these people who just thought he was the man, I wonder how they feeling right now. Many of them are coming out of the woodworks saying that they made a mistake, that they voted in the wrong way, and this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. It's too late. Too late for all of that now. What I'm about to show you right now, it is terrifying. It is terrifying. But Yah is in control. That alone should make you sit in a seat of comfort and rest. You know, this, the psalm writer, when he said, "The Most High is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake." Then it goes on to say, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for Yah is with me. His rod and his staff, they comfort me. He prepares a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yah forever." You can rest assured in the Most High. Regardless to this mess that is going on in this country, it has to happen. It's only going to get worse. It's going to go from bad to worse, family. So get ready. Hold your head up, family. Look up, for our redemption draws nigh. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share with you all what is happening in this complete and total mess. America has been taken over. Some people don't believe that. They don't want to accept it. They don't even want to let those words roll off of their lips. America is finished. It has been taken over, and it's only going to get worse. Take a listen at this, and of course, you know I will be right back.
So tonight I want to start off by showing you a couple clips. Let's watch them. That's outside the Capitol, yes, on January 6th, where you can hear someone yelling, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." Let's take another view from a different perspective. That's right, in those clips you can hear someone yelling, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." That voice you hear is this man. That's Jared Wise breaking into the Capitol after that scene you saw outside. Now let me delve a little bit into what happens before he breaks into the Capitol, what's happening in that crowd scene you saw at the top. This is what's happening. So Jared Wise is at the Capitol. He is telling law enforcement officers there that they are the Gestapo, they're Nazis, shame on them, he says, shame on them. And he explains that he is actually part of law enforcement or was part of law enforcement. And then when the crowd starts attacking those police officers, he says, he yells out, "Yeah, fuck them, yeah, kill them." And then, as you heard in that video, he repeats, "Kill him, kill him, kill him." Directing violence against these law enforcement officers outside the Capitol. That is Jared Wise. Now, why should you care about this one particular rioter outside the Capitol? Because Jared Wise is now one of the new high-ranking hires at Donald Trump's Justice Department. That's right, that guy egging on violence against police officers, telling rioters to kill cops, has just been appointed to the Justice Department by Donald Trump. He has been appointed to the weaponization working group headed by Ed Martin. Now, you'll remember Ed Martin. We've talked quite a bit about Ed Martin here. Ed Martin was a lawyer representing a bunch of these January 6th defendants. Ed Martin was nominated to be DC U.S. Attorney. Because of all of the terrible stuff that came out about Ed Martin, his nomination was sunk. So he was appointed instead to head this so-called weaponization working group, which is, ironically, or maybe not ironically, designed to weaponize the Justice Department. So Jared Wise this January 6th insurrectionist yelling, "Kill him," to rioters directed at the police is now a part of the Trump Justice Department. Now, what happened with the case against Jared Wise? Jared Wise was indicted on 2 felony and 4 misdemeanor counts as part of his activities on January 6th. And that case was being tried, and it went to the jury on Friday. And before that jury could deliberate, on Monday, Donald Trump pardoned Jared Wise.
Approximately $1,500 for a pardon.
So he's not a convicted criminal. The case never actually got to go to conviction because of Donald Trump, but he is now a high-ranking person in the Justice Department. So he's going to be working with Ed Martin to weaponize that department as part of this broader effort, not just to go after people who held others accountable for January 6th, but to go after all of the president's perceived enemies. With respect to their efforts to rewrite history, they have purged the FBI. You'll remember that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, among their first acts amid the top echelons of the FBI, was to fire a bunch of the top managers of the FBI who had anything to do with prosecutions of January 6th defendants. There was then an effort to gather all the names of people that participated in those prosecutions, even if they were simply assigned those responsibilities and conducting them, and conducting those cases to conviction, as the vast, vast majority of those defendants were convicted. But you have the purge going on, continue to go on at the FBI. You have a lot of FBI agents who are now leaving with their feet, voting with their feet, by getting out, hundreds and hundreds of them taking early retirement because of morale problems at the FBI. And you have the fact that people are being pulled off of assignments working on serious criminal investigations to work on the president's political priorities, which mean going after his perceived enemies, dismissing valid corruption cases like the one against the mayor of New York, de-emphasizing white-collar and corporate crime, as one of the top Justice Department people under Trump said, that white-collar prosecutions are bad for business. Well, no, they're just bad for corrupt business. But these are the changing priorities of the Justice Department under Donald Trump. The immigration raids, that is all of these indiscriminate raids, too, that are going after people with no criminal record. 9 out of 10 of the people they're arresting in these indiscriminate raids have no criminal record, except for coming into the country undocumented. But they're being pulled away from child trafficking cases. They're being pulled away from drug cases. They're being pulled away from border security. They're being pulled away from all kinds of other criminal offenses and true national security threats. And they don't want to talk about the fact that they're pulling agents off of serious crime cases to go after farm workers and grocery workers and others in their Trumpian MAGA priorities. Look at these 2 law enforcement agents I questioned during a Judiciary Committee hearing, and how hard they struggle to avoid answering a question about the diversion of resources away from serious crimes and to immigration enforcement under the Trump administration. How much of your workforce is being diverted to immigration enforcement and away from things that they were doing previously?
Well, specifically immigration enforcement only, that's not what we're focused on. It's just not, sir.
Okay, so how many of the 200 agents have worked in immigration enforcement?
At any given time, anybody could have.
No, just overall. Have all 200 been called away at some point to work on immigration enforcement?
No, sir.
Okay, so how many have?
I really would have a hard time giving you an answer on that, sir.
You're running you're running the office.
I am, yes.
And you're having to make decisions about allocating resources.
Yes, sir.
And you've got investigations to pursue that were ongoing at the time of the administration. And you're having to take agents off of one thing to put them on another. I know how strapped the resources were even before this administration. Yeah. So you may not want to be precise here, but we need some sense of what kind of resources are being diverted here. Mr. Perez, are the estimates accurate that 45% of agents in major cities are being called on to work on immigration now? Is that accurate?
No, sir. I would say that's not entirely accurate. I think that maybe comes from some data that looked at.
So what is the accurate percentage?
So nationally, sir, I don't have an exact percentage. I would say it's probably, it ebbs and flows.
In addition to the appointment of people like Jared Wise, who would have been content with police being killed on January 6th, you also have the appointment of other Trump sycophants, like this guy. That's Thomas Fugate. Thomas Fugate is a 22-year-old former Trump campaign advance person with no national security experience, who is now heading the unit at the Department of Homeland Security responsible for trying to combat terrorism. That's right, we've got a 22-year-old intern in a position of responsibility combating terrorism at the Department of Homeland Security. What's his prime qualification? Well, in a way, it's the same as Jared Wise, and that is utter sycophancy, total obedience to the person of Donald Trump, not to the public safety. So this is Donald Trump's Justice Department in action. You've got January 6 rioters, you've got 22-year-old interns, you've got resources pulled away from serious criminal cases, resources pulled away from white-collar crime, and devoted to going after Donald Trump's political enemies and a lot of people who are hardworking but undocumented in America.
So we see this mess, right? Donald Trump is putting people in charge who are not qualified for the positions at the Department of Justice, dealing with the security of this country. This thing has gotten out of hand. This is the America that these people voted for. They didn't know this is what they were getting. I say these people and the America and all this stuff because this is their president. The Bible tells us not to appoint any king over us. So the way I see it is we are just still in the land of our captivities as spiritual POWs.
Yeah. So like with that big beautiful bill, because that's why him and Elon Musk like had that falling apart, because it didn't actually decrease the deficit. It actually increased it, I think, about like 5 trillion, something like that. And Trump was supposed to be the guy that comes in to fix that problem.
And on top of that, he's taking away Medicare on that big beautiful bill.
Right, taking away Medicare. And so Elon Musk is so upset about that, he's actually starting a third political party. Now this has happened before. It's called the American Political Party or something like that. So there's going to be a third political party. They've done this stuff before. They just recycle things. Whatever. Well, independent, but Elon Musk is backing this one, so this is going to be a major one.
Then Trump made a decree yesterday to fire 1,300 government workers.
So now he going to fire, but you know why? Because they're not sycophants. They're not worshiping him. They're like, no, right is right, wrong is wrong. So that's the thing about sycophants. They worship whoever's in charge and do whatever. They're yes men.
Yeah.
Right? And so like this other video I'm not going to show, but it's just talked about.
Listen to this.
Oh, hold on. Not that one. It just talks about all the flooding that's going on.
Yeah.
Record-breaking, catastrophic floods in America.
Yeah.
So this is not the time, like we always say, to be falling away. This is the time to be reaching out to his hand that's stretched out still. Right? We got to, like that song we was listening to earlier, like we got to read the book more. We got to search more, pray more, and get closer to the Most High, because these deceptions are going to get more deceptive, right?
These floods ain't no coincidence.
No, they're not.
You got it in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma.
Right?
North Carolina.
I think North Carolina as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chicago. Look, they said, I didn't know that either.
And we're under a flood watch now. So throughout this series, we've been going over mainly Ezekiel 36, 7, and then because even from the Jewish guy and the Christian evangelist, they always are harping on this is looking like it's Ezekiel 38. The problem is things have to happen before, and I know we've gone over this before because there's a timeline. If you're going over Ezekiel, you got to read the timeline. So actually what's going on now is Ezekiel 35 and 36, right? So in Ezekiel 35, he says, "Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it." Now, who is Mount Seir?
Who is Mount Seir?
Yeah. Okay. Mount Seir. Okay. "And say unto it, Thus saith Yahuwah Eloah, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you, and I will stretch out my hand against you, and I will make you most desolate. So this Mount Seir, he's going to destroy more than anybody else. Right now, this is Ezekiel 35. It was a future prophecy, because in the end times, there was a people that were going to usurp authority, and nobody would really know about it. Right. So then it says, I will lay your cities waste, and you shall be desolate, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah, because you have had a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel. This is in the end times, right? This is talking about us, right? By the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. It's coming against Mount Seir. Because they want to jump to Ezekiel 38, but you're like, no, hold on. Let's not jump there yet. Let's see where we're actually at. This is something that we have to start incorporating into our prayers. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, I will prepare unto you blood, and blood shall pursue you. Sith you have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. So the Most High, like, I'm sending blood after you. It's going to be nothing but death. It's coming. Because of the perpetual hatred against the true children of Israel. Like, this is what the prophet is prophesying. This isn't just me making it up. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. So this is really going against the men, right? And I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In your hills and in your valleys and in your rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Mm-hmm. I will make you perpetual desolations. What does perpetual mean? It's not going to end. Perpetual desolations, and your cities shall not return, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. So before anything can happen in Ezekiel 38, there's got to be a people that gets utterly destroyed, and the world knows who they are at that point in time. Has that happened yet? No. Because you have said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, and we will possess it. Whereas Yahuwah was there. So they talking about, we're going to possess their land. We're going to control all these people. It's going to be ours. Right? This is what this Mount Seir is talking about. So again, we got to incorporate this in the prayer so the Most High remember, hey, you prophesied this. This is your word. These people need to go. Therefore, as I live, saith the Most High, I will even do according to your anger and according to your envy, because they envy us, which you have used out of your hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged you. Has the Most High made himself known towards the actual people by judging a nation that's been continually destroying them? That has not happened. That has not happened yet. Right? So we're coming into around this time frame. He says, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah, and that I have heard all your blasphemies, which you have spoken against the mountains of Israel. The mountains of Israel are the people of Israel. This is actually tied to Revelations 2:9 and Revelations 3:9. I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So he says that, and you shall know that I'm Yahuwah, and that I have heard your blasphemies, which you have spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying they are laid desolate. They are given us to consume. Thus, with your mouth have you boasted against me, even though they was talking about us, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, when the whole earth rejoiceth, I will make you desolate. So when everyone else is rejoicing, you're going to be destroyed, destruction, peril. And you did rejoice at the inheritance of the children of Israel. So they were so happy that they got us. And he's talking about Mount Seir. Because it was desolate, so will I do unto you. You shall be desolate, O Mount Seir, and all of Idumea. Who is Idumea? Come on. Even all of it, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah.
The
Edomites. Mount Seir is the Edomites because they took over Mount Seir. So he's calling this great destruction that is going to happen to these Edomites, right? That has not happened because according to them, they disappear from history. But according to Ezekiel, in the end times, this has got to happen. right? Just make sure we're clear. Huh? That's why they changed their doggone name. Now we on the same page. Same thing like Chinese men, right? Right? So then we go to Ezekiel 36, right? So because I told y'all during this fast that we just finished, we're focusing on Ezekiel 36 and 37. We're going to read 36 really quick. He says, also, so we read 35, they talked about Mount Seir and all of Idumea. Now in 36, he's talking about the beginning. He's talking about the nations that are joined with them, right, that are helping them. He says, also, you son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel and say, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus saith the Most High, because the enemy have said against you, knock it off. Because the enemy has said against you, aha, the ancient high places are ours in possession. So the reason why, because there are a lot of Judeans, a lot of our kinfolk that have recently got kicked out of the land. This prophecy had to be fulfilled. Right, when you talk about the times and the dividing of times, right, it talks about in Daniel, I believe it's Daniel 7 or 12, it talks about how it's to accomplish the scattering of the people, right? Because some of our people never left in 70 AD. Yeah. They were still there from the different books that we've read. So something had to happen to where we can get completely cast off and other people could be proud to have our inheritance, our Nohala, right? Ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Most High, because they have made you desolate, talking about us, and swallowed you up on every side. That's what they've done for centuries, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, those that are joined with them. And you are taken up in the lips of talkers and are an infamy of the people. That's why they, with that idiot box, they just make us look like the most destitute people ever made. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Most High. Thus saith the Most High to the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Thus saith the Most High, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen. Because remember, in was it Ezekiel 35? He said, he's going to be made known to us by the way that he judges Mount Seir and Idumea, but also the heathen. A residue of the heathen, I'll start that over. Therefore, thus saith the Most High, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Ezekiel prophesied this way before it actually happened. And the fulfillment of it is going to be in our times or our children's time, right? Just to further reiterate that Edom is in modern Jewry, according to their Jewish Encyclopedia, 1925, volume 5, page 41, Edom is in modern Jewry. So they're behind the scenes working this thing out. People they have no idea that the Jewish people that they're claiming are mixed with these other people, and they're actually the people that have to be destroyed with the great destruction, right? Then we went to what? We went to Jasher 90, and we talked about how way back when, what happened? Edom or Esau or Idumea went to war with Kittim, which Kittim was who? No.
It was
the Hebrew word for what country? Starts with the R.
Russia.
No. Kittim was the Hebrew word for Rome. Right? So we went to war with Rome 2 different times, according to Jasher 90. And Edom did. And Edom lost. And so they became one people from that time to where you couldn't even separate that. Right? Now this is in Jasher 90. They became one people. You can read that through verses 1 through 11 and 28 through 31 from Jasher 90. Right? Again, Kittim is recognized as Rome. Rome. So we're going to keep going. Now I'm going to read Daniel 11. We're going to go back to Ezekiel 36. So this is what we're focusing on again in our fast this week. Then he says, prophesy. Actually, man, read this one.
Prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys. Thus said Yahweh, our Elohim, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen.
The shame of the heathen. So in that time, we've been dealing with what? Bearing the shame of the heathen, not in our own lands, right? We've been made a prey to all nations. And Edom and these other nations have what? Taken over our land, and they have them in possession. This is the time that we're living in, right? Okay, keep going.
Therefore thus said Yahweh, I have lifted up my hand. Surely the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame.
You had to bear your shame. They are going to have to do the same thing. And that's why they have to keep this white supremacy going, to keep you under that witchcraft. So you'll never see the light of day. Because if we don't wake up, prophecies won't be fulfilled. That's why there's a revolution, an awakening that's been going on. You saw it kind of starting like 2012, 2015, 2019-ish. And it's going. It's picking up steam every day, right? Keep going.
Okay. But ye, O mountains of Israel, ye shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people of Israel. Right, yeah. For they are at hand to come.
So the real people of Israel, when they come there, this is what's going to happen to the land. It's going to shoot forth branches and yield fruit. For we are at hand to come, so we're not there yet.
So is that why Israel right now is so dry?
Like a desert.
And they need like
Because the people are not there yet. That's what I'm saying. When you know the prophecies, you can't be fooled by those people. You can't be, because this is what's supposed to happen when we come there. Right? Keep going. Go ahead, Bam.
I was just thinking in my head, like, the sci-fi theories in my brain. Like, when we get there and it just... Yeah.
It's literally going to become like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about a picture in my head.
Right now, it's literally desolate. They have to bring food and supplies from all over the world.
Everywhere else.
That is crazy.
Still, the river from Ethiopia, or fight them over it and all this other type stuff. Yeah.
For behold, I am for you, and I will turn unto you, and ye shall be tilled and sown.
And so I'm talking about the people. We will be tilled, and we will grow up in our own land. Okay.
And I will multiply my hand upon you, all the house of Israel, even all of it, and the city shall be inhabited, and the waste shall be builded.
And we know that that's not going on over there, right? Okay, keep going. Jamal, you want to read this one?
Why not? We don't want to read.
By my eye.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
Crybaby.
His eye hurt.
I might cry.
And I will multiply upon you man and beast, and they shall increase and bring fruit. And I will settle you after your old estates, and will do better unto you than at your beginnings. And ye shall know that I am the Most High.
Right.
Yea, I will cause men to walk upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall possess thee, and thou shalt be their inheritance, and thou shalt no more henceforth bereave them of men.
So we will never get kicked out of the land again to go into captivity, is what they just said, right?
No more sadness. Thus saith the Most High, because they say unto you, thou land devourest upon men, of men, and hast bereaved thy nations. Therefore thou shalt devour men no more, neither bereave thy nations anymore, saith the Most High.
Because up until this time, right, the land, there's been a curse on the land. If you do wickedness, you get spewed out. It will spew you out. When we come back, that curse is going to be over with. So if anything happens to where those people have to leave, that's another sign that they are not the people. Right? So pay attention. That's why we're going over this too. So we will not be deceived ever. Right? Keep going.
Neither will I cause men to hear in thee the shame of the heathen anymore.
You ain't going to be hearing them other nations talking crazy about you no more.
At all. Neither shalt thou bear the reproach of the people anymore.
You ain't going to be a proverb, a byword, the N-word, none of that stuff no more.
A burden or anything no more, Neither shalt thou cause thy nations to fall anymore, saith the Most High.
So we're only no rulership. We ain't losing to nobody else ever again once this happens. And it ain't going to be because America's backing us.
Right.
Big brother, Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman.
So that's filthy. So we were filthy, right?
Wow.
Bloody is what we were.
Wherefore, I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for the idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries. According to their way and according to their doings, I judged them. So okay, that's crazy. And when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. And they said to them, these are the people of the Most High, and are gone forth out of his land.
So if one thing you should get from this lesson is your choices and your decisions matter from verse 19.
They said, however you did, he gonna put you somewhere.
So if you was the worst of the worst, I'm sending you to literal purgatory to hell. You're going to have hell on earth every day. Go ahead. Okay. All right. Shabbat shalom out.
All right.
Aki. Okay. From verse 19, right? So again, your choices matter. Right? Bam, if you don't mind.
But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whether they went.
That's what we did. That's what we've been doing, right?
Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whether ye went.
So why would he say he's only doing this for his holy name's sake? Because I'm telling you, we've gone over this stuff before. Huh?
Yeah.
He's holy, he's the Most High, he keeps his word.
But he said he's not doing it for our sakes, but for his holy name's sake.
Yeah, for his name's sake.
You just said it though, because of his word and because of his name is in us. Right? And he has a covenant with our ancestors that he must fulfill. Or this whole book's a lie. Because we know we are the people.
He can't lie, so he gotta do what he promised.
Right.
And on top of that, like, you gotta let it be known, like, I'm him.
I'm him and they them.
He's not holy.
I'm him and them.
Yeah.
And they the real ones that are of Shem.
Yeah.
Shem him. Therefore, okay, we're done.
23.
And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, said Yahweh Elohim.
His sanctifying is going to be what him judging them in front of us, right? And then and us coming back and the world being like, oh, them?
Yeah.
Them?
It's them folks.
Yeah, it's all makes sense.
When I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes.
Right.
For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries. And will bring you into your own land.
Your own land, where you're supposed to be, where everything is natural.
Where it started at.
Where it started at for you, right? Your own land, not all across the world, right? Not just in Poland and Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah.
Baptized. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all the filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you.
Like you said, Yahuwah, he's going to baptize us, right?
A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put in you, will put within you. And I will take away the stony heart of out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh.
So when we go into the land, once he delivers us from all nations, this is what's supposed to be the mark to where everyone knows that we're his, right? We're not stubborn no more. We're not stiff-necked. We're not going around just murdering, kicking people out for no reason. Yeah, it ain't going to be like that when we go back. Because we've gone through what? Captivity. Now, the people that he said he going to judge. And we are going to get to see it. But again, when we come back, we're just going to be straight, disciplined, and obedience to the Most High. Through his Mashiach, period. There ain't going to be no ifs, ands, or buts, and you're not going to be in the land. You'll be one of those that are just kicked out and outcast. You'll basically be like Edom. They'll know you're the people, but you won't be a part of them. And you don't want to be a part of that mix either. You survive everything just to be like, you're not worthy to come over here. So then you just wandering around again. Somebody without an Elohim. You don't want that. They're like, no, I'm Israelite. So why ain't you? We never knew him. That's what they're going to say. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be rebellious people that will not submit to the Most High. Because they're into the LBGTQ, all that other stuff. Worshiping other gods, all this other stuff.
They're so hard-headed.
Bro, they have Christian gay churches, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Christian gay churches, especially if you go to Atlanta or...
And Beyonce be their god most of the time.
Yeah, she's their goddess. Yeah, they worship, like, that's a church of Beyonce.
What is going on?
Kanye got a church. You got to be careful. Like, that's why I be trying to tell people, man, y'all better stop listening to everybody online. Yeah. Y'all better have some type of governor like, no, this ain't it. Yeah. You're going to get led down that wide path to a hot bath.
And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
So when we go there, we will be keeping the law. Not the Talmud, not the Mishnah, not all this other stuff. We will be keeping the commandments of the Most High. Right? Mm-hmm. Tel Aviv will not be one of the homosexual capitals of the world. None of that stuff will be going on when you come back into the land. Righteousness is what's going to be the standard there. Right? Okay, keep going.
And ye shall dwell in the land that I give to your fathers. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim.
Man.
I will also save you from all your uncleanness. And I will call for the corn, and will increase it, and lay no famine upon you.
So we ain't gonna have no famine. Everything just gonna grow. We gonna have the best of the best.
Lush food.
Mm-hmm. Natural, not GMO.
Yeah.
And I will multiply the fruit of the tree and the increase of the field, that ye shall receive no more reproach or famine among the heathen.
Right. We're only going to be blessed in that time. So then he says, then shall you remember your own evil ways and your doings that were not good, and shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for your iniquities and for your abominations. So when we come back and we get everything, we'll think about the sins and the iniquities, and we will have remorse, and we won't even want to go down that path no more. We won't be so stuck up to where we want to kill everybody else, kick everybody else out, literally spit on people of different religions and all that other type of stuff that them folks be doing. They be doing some wild stuff, right? We won't be doing that. And what was it? The cold midgery that they do once a year during the the cold midgery. You remember we were talking about it last week, right? Once a year, right? They come up there and then they read from it, and basically you're swearing to whoever they pray to that, you know, any and all covenants that you make will be disannulled with anybody. You can lie to anybody, right? The Jewish people. The Ish people do that, right? On the Day of Atonement is when they do it. It's called the Kol Midri, right? On the Day of Atonement. But for your iniquities and for your abominations, not for your sakes do I this, saith the Most High. Be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Most High, in the day that I shall have cleansed you from all your iniquities, I will also cause you to dwell in the cities, and the waste shall be builded, and the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And they shall say, the land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden. And the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and inhabited. So when we come back, that's literally what's going to happen. Right? Everything's going to go back to its natural. It's going to be like the Garden of Eden. Because the true seed is there. Right? The seed that was made for that land is there. So everything can grow again. Right? 2 seeds in the earth. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahuwah, rebuild the ruined places and plant that was desolate. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it, and I will do it. For thus saith the Most High, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel. So then we can be like, hey, Most High, where you at? Hey, good luck. To do it for them, because I will increase them with men like a flock. As the holy flock, holy means to be set apart, As the flock of Jerusalem enter solemn feast, so shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am the Most High. I am Yahuwah. Right? That's why I want to tell to read that and kind of meditate on that, because once this is in you, you can't be deceived by this other stuff. All of that stuff is just fantasy. It's theater. Right? It's literal theater. So then we went over who is Esau Rome, right? Who is Esau-Rome? And then we talked about the Balfour Declaration. Who remembers what the Balfour Declaration actually is? Because I pulled out a dollar bill.
That's the one that happened like, 47?
No, it's before that.
It was the promissory.
It's a promissory note. It's a receipt that Great Britain was going to do what they said they were going to do since the Jewish people that were living in Germany brought the United States into the war. The Balfour Declaration was the receipt of the promissory note that Great Britain would give them Palestine. Right. Would give them Palestine.
But they got it in 47.
And that's from the book Facts Are Facts, right? Facts Are Facts. So I'm just going to keep going. And then it talked about how they use war and politics to create major changes. They used the Balkan War to weaken Turkey, World War I and World War II, and the looming World War III that's coming, right? They use these things to make change. To make change.
It's the same thing every time.
Every time, bro. And then we talked about how the UN is really a Jewish creation. That's why the United States always backs Israel, right? Secretly, it's a Jewish creation according to this book by another Jewish man whose last name is also Weiss. Right? So then we're going to keep going, talk about how our presidents and all them are in cahoots with the Zionists, political Zionists. And okay, then on this one, the author Kessler talks about how the origins of the Jewish people, like they're not from Israel, right? Because they haven't met any biblical standards or requirements to be the right people, right? And then he says, if you jump down, it says the Israeli state was founded upon a systematic program of violence, deceit, murder, and war instigated by the Jews. And this fact alone should dismiss the idea that they are Israel coming to Zion. We should now begin to see the modus operandi of Judaism and Zionism and how they are not the ways of Israel, but of Edom. So this author talks about how there's a connection between the Jewish people and Edom. We read from the Jewish Encyclopedia of 1925, Edom is in modern Jewry. So I'm not going to read all of that. Then talked about how Zionism is part of a program for the political conquest of the world. Zionism, whenever you see Zionism, that's talking about the Jewish people or Judaism. They're one and the same. They work together, right? So Zionism is a part of the political conquest of the world. The UN is its chief instrument according to the protocols of Zion. The possessing of the ancient lands and holy places of Israel is only a ruse. So the Zionist Jews can sucker the gullible Christians into supporting them as being God's chosen people, fulfilling prophecy. Meanwhile, the Zionists are free to terrorize, murder, sabotage, spy, and get billions in free aid. Jewish Palestine is a communistic and atheistic monstrosity whose only ambition is not to serve the world, but to rule it. That is their end goal. That's why they do it through war and politics. Got to be politically correct. So now, we jump into today. The Edom-Khazarian connection. Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 19. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing. Remember sheep's clothing. But inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes or thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. You got to judge people by their fruits. Now, we read Revelations 2 and 3:9 last time, talking about the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and that are not and are the synagogue of Satan. Now, I'm not even going to really rehash everything from this book. I'm going to skip Facts Are Facts because that's a lot of information. So I'm going to get to more of today's portion as soon as I'm there. Come on. And we went to Ezekiel 37 and talked about what? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom becoming one stick, one people coming into the land. So that's another way you know that those people are not the people, because you don't know about any of the other tribes being there. You only hear about the Jewish people. That's one tribe out of technically 12 and a half or 13 tribes, right? Technically. So that's another way you know that they're not the people. So then we skip to Ezekiel 38, which is what everyone is trying to focus on. And in verse 2, he says, Son of man, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Most High, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth and put and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. So then we went to Genesis 9, right? Genesis 9 verses 24 through 27. And it says, And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward. And they saw not their father's nakedness. Talking about Noah. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, who was Noah's younger son that he's talking about? What was that middle? What was the last one? Ham, right? Because Ham saw his father's nakedness and didn't do anything, but he just talked crazy about it to his brothers. Right. Right, embarrassed him. And he said, because why did he curse Canaan and not Ham?
Because God already had blessed.
Because he had already blessed Shem, Ham, and Japheth, so he couldn't curse him, so he cursed one of his sons. Right? And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So Canaan's going to be Jacob's servant. And God shall, or the Most High shall enlarge Japheth. That word enlarge means to deceive Japheth. And he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So two different sons, Canaan's going to be his servant. Yeah. Cursed. Then we went to Genesis 10. And we read verses 1 through 5. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. Now this is the point where we talk about the Gentiles. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. It's basically everybody from Ezekiel 38. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Rome, and Dodanim. By these were the isles or the islands of the Gentiles divided into their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. So the original Gentiles were the Europeans. Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. The original Gentiles were Europeans. We're re-going over this so we can get this, make sure it's embedded in everybody. The original Gentiles were the Europeans, right? And so we know that the Jewish people, they call themselves what? Ashkenazi Jews.
Or the other name, what's the other one?
I'm just talking about what they call themselves. They call themselves Ashkenaz or Sephardic. Sephardic. But the majority of them call themselves Ashkenazi. So, and this is the crazy part. If you look at this, Ashkenaz is the son of who? Gomer. So that would automatically mean that they're Gentile. Yeah. But some of them, it's a little confused. So they're sons of Gomer. So they say they're Ashkenaz, but according to what was it? Their King Joseph said, he said that they were from Togarmah, which is still from Gomer, but that's from a different son and not from Ashkenaz. You see the confusion in that? So two different grandsons. So I saw that, I'm like, y'all just confusing everybody and don't nobody know what's going on. It's a lot of confusing stuff going on with them. You see that? Ashkenaz and then Togarmah's right there. Because he said that they're of the 10 sons of Togarmah. I was like, from King Joseph of the Khazars. That's confusing. Just again, that's just straight confusion. We know the Most High, he don't deal in none of that. Huh? Exactly. They just go with it. Luckily, we done a little bit of research. They be lying. So we noted that, according to different book, Arthur Kessler, the Khazars are from a Turkish stock. I'm not even going to really rehash all of that. The Khazars were so big, their kingdom was so vast that it was like either 800,000 miles or 1 million square miles. It was the largest territory in Europe that they covered. But they don't teach us nothing about the Khazars in history.
So they must control Turkey and Russia area.
That's exactly what they did. And the main reason why, I think, what did they say, that the Arabs could not come, north? Northward through the wreckage of two empires carrying all but before them reached the Caucasus. Hold on, let me go back. So the Khazar Empire, the Gold Sea. No, we didn't go over that one too much. So it says the Khazar country lay across the natural line of advance of the Arabs. Within a few years of the death of Muhammad, the armies of the Caliphate, sweeping northward through the wreckage of two empires and carrying all before them, reached the great mountain barrier of the Caucasus. This barrier, once passed, the road lay open to lands of Eastern Europe. As it was, on the line of the Caucasus, the Arabs met the forces of an organized military, which effectively prevented them from extending their conquest in this direction. The wars of the Arabs and the Khazars, which lasted 100 years, more than 100 years, though little known, have thus considered historical importance. So because of them, Muslims couldn't take over all of Europe. Them and the Franks from the west. But they were so big and so powerful, the Muslims had to stop. Again, we learn nothing about them in history, like they didn't exist. Very organized. And
we probably learned about them. They just changed.
I didn't learn about them.
I'm just saying they kept changing their name.
Oh, you're right. We didn't know them by their actual name that they called Khazars, right? Because again, they fought the Arabs for 100 years, and we don't read about none of the wars, none of the battles, nothing. It's kind of crazy to me. Yeah, right. And then in 740 AD, through their king, they convert to what? Judaism, right? Somewhere between 620 and 740 AD, they converted to it. And one of these authors, a Hungarian author, says, our investigations cannot go into the problems pertaining to the history of ideas, but we must call the reader's attention to the matter of the Khazar kingdom state religion. It was the Jewish faith which became the official religion of the ruling strata of society. Needless to say, the acceptance of the Jewish faith as the state religion of an ethnically non-Jewish people could be the subject of an interesting speculation. So they knew that they weren't Israelites. They weren't Hebrews. So they knew it. I'm just trying to hurry up and recap this. So then it says, what is, actually, Jamal, read this one paragraph right here. Just read this paragraph.
What is in dispute is the fate of the Jewish Khazars after the destruction of their empire. In the 12th or 13th century, on this problem, the sources are scant, but various late medieval Khazar settlements are mentioned in the Crimea, which is in Ukraine, in Hungary, Poland, and Lithuania.
Where all those Jewish people came from. Keep
The
going.
general picture that emerges from these fragmentary pieces of information is that of a migration of Khazar tribes and communities into those regions of Eastern Europe, mainly Russia and Poland, where at the dawn of the modern age, the greatest concentrations of Jews were found.
But y'all believe in coincidences, right?
Yeah.
They migrated there. Yeah. That's the biggest concentration of Jews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This had led several historians to conjecture that a substantial part, and perhaps the majority of Eastern Jews and hence of world Jewry might be of Khazar and not of Semitic origin.
So right. So again, this is in Arthur Kessler's book, The 13th Tribe, where he's talking about this, and he's a Jewish man. Yeah. He did his own research on his own people. Right.
Now that was lead, not lead, because lead is LED.
Lead is also LEAD, right?
ahead, but keep going
Let him
now.
know he did it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I thought you could also call it lead,
No.
though. No? Am I wrong? Well, my English ain't Englishing. Okay. Okay.
It's okay though. We'll
Say what?
We'll get you there.
So then talking about, watch yourself. Then talking about still standing in the 13th tribe, Arthur Kessler says, how important in quantitative terms is that presence of the Caucasian sons of Japheth in the tents of Shem? So even he's saying, no, they are sons of Japheth, not the people. But again, from that,
Sons of Jacob.
y'all see that, right? I'm not making that up. That's what he says, right? And we're going to get into this, a book. Okay. One of the most radical proponents of the hypothesis concerning the Khazar origins of Jewry is the professor of medieval Jewish history at Tel Aviv University, A.N. Polyak. His book, Khazaria, in Hebrew, was published in 1944 in Tel Aviv, a second edition in 1951. In his introduction, he writes that the facts demand a new approach, both to the problem of the relations between the Khazar Jewry and the other Jewish communities, and to the question of how far can we go in regarding the Khazar Jewry as the nucleus of the large Jewish settlement in Eastern Europe. So this is the Jewish man talking about, yeah, y'all are Khazars. The descendants of this settlement, those who stayed where they were, those who immigrated to the United States and to other countries, and those who went to Israel, constitute now the large majority of world Jewry. So again, they know. They know. They own people know.
They know. So the 13 tribe, they were just trying to say like it was instead of 12 tribes, it's 13.
Yeah, because the Khazars are number 13. No, they're the 13th tribe.
They gonna make themselves a tribe.
And he said that they come from the Khazars' origin. He says that they come from the Volga, not the Jordan, the Caucasus, right? And they're from certain tribes. So do I have to? That's where it is. I'm not even gonna read about the fortress of the Khazars. Okay. Let's see. So this Khazar Empire was so big they had over 30 countries paying tribute to them, right? And which included Slavonic tribes, Crimea, Bulgars, Burdas, Magyars, all these other ones, right? But again, they kept the Muslims from penetrating completely into Europe.
It wasn't a trip.
Say what? She's gonna figure it out. It says the Khazars were the supreme masters of the southern half of Eastern Europe for a century and a half.
Okay, so they was running things. That's why they got that.
Before Russia was ever a nation, they was running things.
So they used to run stuff. That's what that is.
That's what the war in Ukraine was really about. They're trying to get all of the parts of their ancestral homeland back, right? So, just wanted y'all to see that. Now, Genesis 25. Can one of y'all read this, verses 20 through 25?
And Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife because she was barren. And the Most High was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, what am I less? And she went to inquire of the Most High. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
So he was red, right? He had red hair, right? So that's a characteristic trait of Esau, right? But when originally when he came out, he looked more like our skin tone. Let's not get that confused. He looked like us back then. Some of them still look like us now. They didn't do all of them. All of them didn't do all the mixing. Some of his tribes did. Go ahead.
Now, it was just, I want to say a couple of months back, they were saying, but they were saying like redhead gingers. They was just saying like, if you ginger, like you can tie your roots back to being black.
Yeah.
Like, it was a whole thing. You seen it online?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh, I'm ginger. Like, it was a whole bunch of white people like, I'm ginger. Like, that was
They
exciting.
had this one guy, he was straight ginger, never knew he was black at all. He went and got his DNA tested, and it came back that he was predominantly black man.
Yeah.
He said he had no idea.
So the crazy thing about that is the only time when you see this description of somebody being red all over like a hairy garment, Esau.
Yeah.
So technically,
So you saying if people got red hair, they're probably black?
Not all. Like some of the other races did, but one of the key characteristics in the text talking about Esau's red all over like a hairy garment.
Yeah.
So whenever I start seeing, ginger-headed people, I kind of just, I just peep their nature. I try to try the spirit, right? Oh no, ain't no way, ain't no way. Yeah, boy, he set you up for the big. That's the big setup right there, boy. Yeah. Hey, try that out. No, you don't want to do that. Don't do that here. So then we went to Genesis 27. And this is the prophecy of, because Esau, what happened? Esau, he lost his birthright and his inheritance, right? He lost them both. So then his father had to give him something. He said, "Can you not bless me?" So let's read this, Bam, if you don't mind. Verses Genesis 27, 38 through 41.
Esau said unto his father, hast thou not but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also. Like, give me.
Well, don't forget about you, Bob. Your eldest favorite,
I'm the favorite.
He was his favorite. He was his favorite.
Favorite him.
Yep.
I mean, not Jacob, but Isaac.
Isaac.
It wasn't her.
But it was prophesied prior to that, though. It was going to be that it wasn't going to go to Esau. But yeah.
What was that in Joshua or Jubilees?
Joshua.
It talks about how Abraham told her, like, hey.
Abraham was the messenger, or was the angel that came, because angel can also mean messenger that came and told her, what was going on in the womb. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he told her, like, I favor Jacob, like, he him. But yeah. Oh, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Well, he was hurt. Like, man, he done got everything from him. Everything. Oh, I hate him.
That's all this. I'm not finna do this, and then you like, got that bike out there. I know.
Yeah, something.
And after his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heavens from above.
So they're going to have the best of the best, right? But remember, from Ezekiel, they're going to get destroyed, right? Mm-hmm. But the prophecy was you're going to have the best of the best, but how are they going to have it? Without looking at, how are they going to have it?
They'll take it.
Hey, you got to.
This is what they've been doing. And by the sword shalt thou lead on, and thou shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
That's the times we've been living in, right?
Yeah.
And Esau had hated Jacob. Yeah, Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning of my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Boy, as soon as these days is morning over with, he dead. I'm gonna kill him. So that's the nature of Esau, right? Just want to kill his brother. Yeah.
He told him, man, like, you don't have everything, but you gonna have to kill for it though. Why would he say that?
You're gonna be the dew of the earth, the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, but you're gonna take it by force.
He loved her and that.
It's crazy because then there's a scripture where the kingdom suffer violence, but the violent take it by force. Because eventually we're gonna take it back. But yeah, they've been taking it. They've been doing their thing. So different chroniclers have called these Khazars the host, identifies them with the host of Gog and Magog, right? Those are the ones that come against the children of Israel in Ezekiel 38. So it's so much confusion when it comes to who these people are. So much confusion.
Go back. Did you read the bottom of it? They call it wild man.
Yeah, yeah.
Hideous faces.
Wild men with hideous faces and the manners of wild beasts, eaters of blood. They like their food rare.
Sounds like Bigfoot.
Hmm?
Sounds like Bigfoot.
Sound like a lot of people. Well, a lot of people like their food rare, but it's interesting. That's an interesting trait. I don't really necessarily want to go over all of this, but y'all get the picture where they come from. Let's try to get to. And this is YAH'S letter to King Joseph, where we just talked about, where they actually came from. So that little guy. So then we went to the invention of the Jewish people, right? Then it says some of the Berbers followed the Jewish religion, which they received from their powerful elite neighbors of Syria. Among the Jewish Berbers were the Jaravo, inhabitants of the Ariz, the tribe of Kahina, who were killed by Arabs in the early conquest. Right? I'm just going to keep going. I don't really want to go over that one. Yeah, so because they go over the same story about YAH'S letter to King Joseph. That was Shlomo Sands from the invention of the Jewish people. Then we talked about how Deuteronomy 28 was only fulfilled through the transatlantic slave trade. It wasn't fulfilled back in all of those other Babylonian, Roman captivities because they never took whole nations of people and shipped them anywhere. On boats anywhere. Never happened. Only happened in transatlantic slave trade, right? So we talked about that and what Mashiach said, how we will be led into captivity into all nations, right? Luke 21 verses 8 through 24. So now, almost there. Back to Esau, who is Esau Edom, right? It says, to help answer the question of who is Esau Edom, the first necessary step is to examine the racial and genealogical history of Esau and his descendants. Esau was the firstborn of Jacob, and thus was heir to the birthright derived from the direct racial lineage of Adam to Abraham. Thus Esau, now remember, they try to say that he was white and that the Semites were white, because we read that. I'm like, don't fall for that. They'll put the truth in there, and then they'll put a bunch of tomfoolery in there. A lot of tomfoolery. And the Esau and the Edomites dwelt in Mount Seir, Genesis 36. So when the Most High was prophesying against Mount Seir in Ezekiel 35, that's what he was talking about, the Edomites, because they took it over. And the crazy thing about them taking over Mount Seir, they ended up going to war with Mount Seir, basically killing all the men and then just procreating with the women. And they kept the children alive, right? When, according to Jasher, they ended up getting help from the king of Africa, is what it says from that. It says, after the conquest of the Babylonians, Edomites had mixed with the Jews even there. So coming to Mashiach's time, that's why he was so hard against like those Jewish people and in the Levitical priesthood of that day. Because do y'all remember what happened to the Levitical priesthood of the day when Mashiach was here? In this reality? Y'all don't remember. It was replaced. Y'all don't remember that?
It was erased.
Replaced.
Yeah, by the Roman king.
So we'll do this. So first, it says the Nabateans now occupied Mount Seir, and the Edomites were driven into the old territory of Judah. Right. So the Edomites came into our land when we were going into captivity. The Maccabean family, a remnant of the true Judahites, had ruled Judea from 166 to 37 BC. So this is going on in the Apocrypha, right? In the Maccabees, the book of the Maccabees. And under Judas Maccabee, they recaptured the city of Hebron and the Edomites in 164 BC. During the time of John Hyrcanus, the nephew of Yehuda, the Judahites were again faced with hostility of the Idumeans or the Edomites. Right, and so then he forced them to become Jews. So he forced them to circumcise if they weren't circumcising, to follow all the rites and whatever, and they became Jews. Even in the book of Esther, it said many people became Jews. So it became this thing, like we would always accept people as a part of our nation, even though you might not be of the actual lineage, you will become a part of the nation of the Judeans. That was under John Hyrcanus, right? But then something happened. It says, thus at the juncture of the time, the Edomites were then incorporated with the Jewish nation. And the country was called by the Greeks and the Romans Idumea, right? But the tide turned in favor of the Edomite faction when Julius Caesar made Antipater an Edomite procurator of Judea in 47 BC. BC means before Mashiach, or before Christ. So he was made, Edomite was made procurator before the birth of Mashiach. When Antipater was killed 4 years later, his son Herod, y'all know that name?
Yeah, King Herod.
Gained power, but was rejected by the Judahites. Herod shrewdly gained the support of Rome. With the Roman army at his heels, he returned to Palestine after a 6-month siege. Y'all remember this? He recaptured Jerusalem and became king of Judea in 37 BC. An Edomite king of the southern kingdom of Judah? No, it's supposed to be someone from the tribe of Judah, right? And that's another thing about the Edom. So whenever they ended up losing to Rome or Kittim, prior to that, they had tried to go to war against us when we were in Egypt. And a bunch of their people stopped helping them and started helping us. And so once they lost that war, they didn't really know how to trust. So then they started having rulers that weren't of their nation because they didn't want to get backstabbed like that again for a time. Eventually, they ended up having rulers of their own nation. A little backstory from Jasher. Where was I at? Herod was a shrewd and unscrupulous tyrant and was despised by the Judahites because he was an idle man and not one of their own stock. Herod hated the people of Judah, and one of his first acts was to execute 45 of the leaders of the old aristocracy to eliminate any rivalry for leadership. 45 just knocked off right then and there. Having secured the kingship, Herod next destroyed the priestly line of Hyrcanus, right? So the priest, the last being Antigonus, who taunted Herod with his Idumean origin and asserted that the kingdom should fall on one of the royal family. Finally, he murdered Aristobulus, the last of the Arianic high priests. Shabbat shalom. Herod then sought to affiliate himself. So he's going killing the Levitical priesthood. He went and killed all of the aristocracy, 45 people, as soon as he gains power from Rome. Just knocking us off. Jews and Judaism. We need to trace the origin back. Okay. So then they're tracing the origin of the Khazars, a Turkish people, even in this book. So, but again, he goes on this murderous tirade an Edomite, as soon as he gains power from Rome. I'm trying to hurry up and get to the point. We already know that. And we already know that. So in this book, they're trying to say that the Khazars or the Khazars are maybe of Edomite stock from this book. Right? Racial mixtures and all of that. What just happened here? It just knocked me out. Yeah, it's never done that before. I don't know what that was about.
It's still on
there. This is I've never done this before. How do I? So it's not even switching screens when I'm switching the screen. That's interesting.
It's doing it on the, it's doing it online though.
Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Okay. Yeah. So again, he's trying to say that they're Edomite stock. And then he says that he said if Khazars did originally dwell near Mount Seir, then the Khazars and thus world Jewry are racially Edomite stock. But how and when did Edomites get to Khazaria? There is evidence that in the 6th century BC, some of the Edomites fled their homeland of Seir and migrated north. Right? So this is about 586 BC where they're saying they could have fled north. So I'm going to skip this. Now, when you talk about the Edomites changing their name, right? So you have to start understanding their nature. From this book, the Edomites, their history as gathered from the Holy Scriptures, right? So real quick, what line did the Horites and the Amorites come from?
Esau.
No. Shem, Ham, or Japheth?
These are the Horites.
Or Amorites. Because now remember, whenever you're looking Horites up, it's not going to tell you a lineage or a bloodline. Right? You have to dig a little deeper to actually find a lineage. And the only reason I'm asking that because we got to stop calling all white people Caucasians. Like we kind of talked about that before. So before we get to that point, it says in chapter 7 of this book, the renowned conqueror of whom it is said that he never tasted bread and who boasted that the grass never grew where his horse had his foot has been designated the scourge of God, talking about Esau. Then he says, among the latter, the Horites are probably to be classed. They were the original inhabitants of Seir, Mount Seir, the Horites. But of them very little is known. Even the origin of their name is obscure. Some supposing it to have been derived from the name of one of their early ancestors, Hori, and others from their inhabitants as cave dwellers. They were of Hamite blood, on whom the fearful curse rested, a servant of servants unto his brethren. So the cave dwellers is what a lot of people commonly call the Neanderthals. Horites. Yeah, we did.
We did about the Amorites, and we tracked the Amorites back to the Horites. And I didn't know that was back to Ham.
Yeah, I'm about to show you. So in 1 Chronicles, because trust me, I've been 1 Chronicles 1, verses 8 through 16. Sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim, Put and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba and Havilah and Sabta and Ramah and Sabta, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be mighty upon the earth. And Mizraim begat Ludim and Anamim, and Lehabim and Naphtuhim, and the Pathrusim and Casluhim, of whom came the Philistines, and Caphthrom, Ooh, a lot of eames. And Canaan begat Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth. The Jebusite also Canaan, the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Zimrite, and the Hamathite. So the reason why I say you got to stop calling all white people that is because Hivite is actually a mistranslation there. But and just so y'all can be reminded about what color the Amorites were alleged to be. Y'all remember this slide? Jamal, read it. Just start reading right here.
The Amorites do indeed remain a mystery, but biblical anthropology provides some insights that should be considered, given the archaic language of the Afro-Asiatic family share common consonant roots and different vowels. It is likely that Amorite is an anglicized form of the word Amur, which is Russian.
Amaru.
Yeah, Amur, that's Russian. The peoples of Amaru were related to and under the governance of the Nile rulers. Some live in Egypt and are represented on ancient monuments as having fair skin, light hair, blue eyes. What's that?
Aquiline noses.
Aquiline noses and pointed beards. Henry George Tompkins, a member of the Royal Archaeological Institute, wrote that the Amorites were blue-eyed and fair-haired. Egyptologists and Assyriologists believe that the Amorites of Maru were white with blue eyes and fair hair, according to Stacey the Hittites, 1889. The Amorites were a tall, handsome people with white skin, blue eyes, and reddish hair, all the characteristics, in fact, of a white race.
But this came from Canaan. Amorites came from Canaan.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful calling all white people Caucasians. Because from the black race, you can create every race and every color. Right? So I just wanted to remind y'all that. Right? And just so y'all can see that it's a translation. It says, yes, some scholars believe that the biblical term Hivites is a mistranslation or corruption of the term Horites. So he had both. So Canaan was the father of both of them. And remember, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be. So just wanted y'all to see this stuff, right? So now, the nature of Esau, Edom. Okay, it says, though the Horites were reduced by Chedorlaomer to the extremest poverty, they retained their independence and were governed by their own dukes or sheiks. So the Horites had dukes or sheiks first. The names of the 7 sheiks have been handed down to us. They are as follows: Lotan, Shobal, Zibian, Anna, Dishan, Ezer, Dishan. Right? So these are Horites. While the Horites as a people became extinct, some of the race continued by intermarriages with the people of Edom. Indeed, the marriage of Esau with the daughter of Anah may have been the beginning of the acquaintance between these people. So now, later on in this book, it talks about one of the sons or grandsons of Esau. It says, Eliphaz, the oldest son of Esau, followed his father's example in marrying a Horite wife. Her name was Tinah, and she was a descendant of Seir. Tinah became the mother of 5 sons, the eldest of whom, Teman, was so considerable a personage that from him a tract of country took his name, Teman, right? It says the people. And then it says, it is probable that the Edomites were governed by dukes several centuries after their removal to Seir. So they started intermixing with them, and then they took that dukedom, right? Because in the book, you only see one people having dukes, right? And that's Esau. But they took it from Mount Seir. So they take the best from anybody or what they like, and then it's theirs, and they act like it's theirs, period, right? Even Bush said, it has been well said by Bush that the English word duke must not be here taken as implying anything like the order of nobility, which in modern terms we usually associate it with, but rather in the sense of the Latin. They always pull from Latin, duke or leader, right? So I got a question. Can one of y'all look up what countries have had dukes on your phone?
England. Great Britain or England. Always had dukes. Yorks and all that.
There's more. Say again.
Probably Australia too, but they kind of like England a little bit.
So once you start looking up dukes, you start seeing a lot of European countries. And again, why is this term duke coming up? Because the Edomites or Esau, they took it from the Horites. In the book, you only really see Edomite dukes. But like once you start looking at what countries have or had dukes, Google's going to tell you, and you start seeing all these countries. Do you see them, Bam? Did it pull up for you?
Mm-hmm.
What does it say?
So it says most primarily European countries, United Kingdom, France, Spain, Portugal, and
Right.
Germany.
You just said Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
Ain't that where we came from, the transatlantic slave trade in Spain and Portugal? And you see dukes there? That's a little crazy, right? Spain, Portugal, what else? Where else?
Spain, Portugal,
France, Sweden,
Germany, and Italy.
Germany and Italy. Italy, huh? We're about to talk about Italy. So in 1 Chronicles, again, chapter 1, verses 51 to 54, it literally shows you that Edom started having dukes, right? Duke Timnah, Duke Aliyah, Duke Japheth, Duke Aholimbama, Duke Elah, Duke Pinon, right? So Esau started being known as having dukes as rulerships.
It's also said, just a little nitpick.
What is it?
It said the Holy See. I don't know what that is.
That's Roman. That's Rome.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's the papacy.
Oh, it said the Holy Holy See has also granted the title of Duke to individuals for services to the church.
Why would the Holy See grant them the antithesis or the villain to the story of the book? Why would they grant the title Duke to people? It's really interesting. The so-called Holy Roman See. Say what? The Holy See? Yeah, that's the Holy Roman Empire. That's the papacy. So then later on in this book it says, though many of the members of the Herodian family are called Jews, because we're talking about King Herod, right? Mm-hmm. From their submitting to the rites and embracing the faith of that people, they are admitted to be Edomites, and this little book would be incomplete without some notice of them. I shall, however, in accordance with the plan of this work, confine my remarks almost exclusively to those members of the family to whom the reference is made in the Bible. The first Edomite of whom we read in the text is who? Herod, falsely named or surnamed the Great. He was the second son of Antipater, a clever Idumean noble who was alike noted for his base sycophancy towards Rome. So he was a yes man for Rome. His inveterate hatred of the Hasmonean line, his insatiable ambition, and his unscrupulousness in satisfying the demands of that ambition. Herod inherited his father's ability, his father's ambition, his father's unscrupulousness, and far more than his father's cruelty. Now, y'all remember, well, hold on. Y'all remember, as soon as Herod became king, basically, he killed 45 of the aristocracy and got done away with the Levitical priesthood line. Do y'all know how he killed these people? This is how crazy this guy was. It says Antigonus, who was part of that line, become obnoxious to Herod. He has the address to cause his life blood to flow beneath the rods and axe of the Roman lictor. So he had him die by axe. He killed him by axe. Does the young Aristobulus become a favorite with the people? He is, as it were, accidentally drowned in a tank. So he gonna make one of them that he killed look like an accident. Does Hasmonean blood flow in the veins of his own two children, his sons? To allay his fears, he strangles them. Because he married Marianne after he killed her brother. They have two sons. And because he's like, man, there's actually Judahite blood in it, so I'm going to strangle them and kill them. This is Herod.
And this is the one who tried to kill all the men.
In Bethlehem. Herod.
And he was going around killing his own kids.
He killed his own two sons.
Just so he
because what was that Dave Chappelle skit? Like he divorced his wife because he found out that she
married to a black man.
Right. Basically, like, wait a minute, there might be Judahite blood in her. I'm gonna kill these little boys. His own sons.
Strangle them too. He ain't just.
You know how much hate you gotta have to strangle a baby, let alone two.
Yeah. And it's your kids. Like,
your kids. Does the beautiful, because this is their mother, Marianne, excite his jealousy? She dies by the axe of the executioner. So he has her executed by axe.
For giving him two sons.
Yeah, because she was a Jewite.
Yeah, I know.
You know, she
I can't let that happen again.
So, and then this is the mind of the person that wanted to kill all of the firstborn or the newly born when Mashiach was born, right? Herod. So I wanted y'all to see that. So this is also documented like from a different book, The Two Babylons. He says, when Christ was born in Bethlehem, no doubt Herod endeavored to cut him off. And Herod was a subject of the Roman Empire. But it was not from any respect to Caesar that he did so, but simply from fear of danger to his own dignity as king of Judea. So little did Caesar sympathize with the slaughter of the children of Bethlehem that it is recorded that Augustus, on hearing of it, remarked that it was better to be Herod's hog than to be his child, because he had just, strangled his own son and was willing to kill anybody else's son. Anybody. He didn't care. That's how deep this hatred goes. For thousands of years, they hate us. They hate us, they hate us, they hate us. Man, I'm not going to read that. So then it says, because we were talking about the papacy, it says the Jewish rabbis traced Edom to Rome. And ancient history shows that a colony of Itareans, now Itareans were traditionally called Ishmaelites, but there's some controversy in that, came from the earliest times and settled in Italy. The greater prophets have shown that Red Edom is to be in action in the last days. And as the three marked branches of Red Esau's descendants can walk to and fro through the cart, we may still look for some further discovery of their occasionally different positions upon earth, according to the promise that Esau shall be made so bare that he shall not be able to hide himself. Having stated that the learned Jewish rabbins have expressed their belief that there is a mystic connection between Rome and Edom, it may be added that some human probabilities are to be found in Bryden, that a grandson of Esau and a... Now, have y'all ever heard of Bryden? This is why it's kind of hard to trace Esau. That a grandson of Esau and a colony of Chaldeans did settle in Sicily. That's also in that same area, right? Italy and Sicily. Yeah. Our first pursuit, therefore, must be after that division, which appeared to spring up in Italy. There's a passage in the notes of the Pictorial Bible which seems to throw light upon this part of our subject, and we shall therefore transcribe it here. So, in this Pictorial Bible, they say, perhaps we ought not to conclude this article without noticing the belief entertained by the Jews and the Mohammedans. Knock it off. And Mohammedans, that the original Romans were a colony of Edomites. Their accounts somewhat differ as to times and persons, but they agree in substance and are all doubtless derived from the same source. They are the teaching of the rabbins. Hence the Jews apply to Rome whatever the prophets say of the destruction of Edom in the latter times. The Talmud calls Italy Rome. Italy and Rome, the cruel empire of Edom. So even the Talmud says that Italy and Rome is Edom. The Mohammedans consider that both the Greeks and Latins are descended from Ra'um, now this is the mystery of the lineage of Esau. Because remember, at 70 AD, allegedly the Edomites just disappeared from history. Once the temple in Jerusalem fell in 70 AD, they're gone. Completely gone. Now, one thing I did notice, it says that the Roman destruction of Idumea during the Jewish-Roman wars marked the effective end of the Edomite people as a distinct group. While their DNA may persist in the region, how you distinct, but your DNA is still in the region, they are no longer a recognizable genetic or cultural entity. That's a little tricky. So they just stop being a people, but they're still in the region. So we're doing the grandson of Esau, right? But it does not appear from the chapter before us that Esau had any such son. It's not in the book. If it be doubted whether Esau had any such son, it must be observed that it is on record that Esau had progeny by 3 wives, all of whom were without the pale of the chosen race, and prophecies having been delivered concerning him 1,000 years after his personal appearance upon earth. We cannot but advert both to the ranging power of Zechariah's red horses and the pregnant blessing of Isaac to Esau, by the sword thou shalt live. We just read that. If then in Italy, red Esau's eldest son Eliphaz did take root, it would naturally follow that his spirit there would raise up a military people. And there are not wanting other indications of the same sort. But we are so ready to reject what we call legends and fables, that sometimes the truth is cast into the shade with them. The same famine which caused Jacob's sons to go down into Egypt for corn might likewise cause Eliphaz, the son of Esau, their first cousin, to migrate in search of a less afflicted country. Being heir to the worldly possessions of Esau, who as eldest son had inherited from Abraham, Sarah, and Isaac, he might migrate or navigate with a well-appointed colony to the coast of Sicily or Italy. Talking about Esau's eldest son. And it is remarkable that Mr. Forrester, in his late able researches concerning the identity of the remains of Esau's descendants in Arabia, now this is what's tricky, should observe upon the non-existence of the name of Eliphaz among them. So in Arabia, you can't even find Esau's eldest son or any remnant of it, allegedly, among them, which he, as an eldest son, would naturally have conferred upon certain districts, had he remained among them. Mr. Forrester's observation is as follows. But while the posterity of Eliphaz are not to be followed or found in Arabia, ancient or modern, bearing his own name, like those of Ishmael and Esau, they may clearly be discovered bearing the name of his mother, Ada, in the tribe of Ad. So what they stopped doing was they stopped being called under the name of Esau or Edomites and after their mother. Now, what other group of people, how do you become Jewish? No. I said, how do you become Jewish? Your mother has to be Jewish. They don't care about who the father is. Your mother has to be Jewish. So this is what they started long ago. Like, hey, let's be a little tricky. Let's not go under the name of our father. Let's go under the name of our mothers and keep the line going in secret, because you don't see them, but you see their mother, their Ada, and they know that that's of Esau. That was one of his wives or whatever.
He's also going to be Jewish by being Judaism also.
You can convert, but traditionally, how you're known to be Jewish is if your mother is Jewish. Has nothing to do with the man, right? But we know, according to the text, in Numbers 1, it literally states, and Yahuwah spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take you the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel and their families by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their poll. So it's through the man. But Judaism is not. Your mother has to be Jewish for the descendants to be Jewish. Everything is backwards. Completely backwards. Man, I was really going to try to get into that. The Jews of Khazaria. Do I want to do that? That's a lot. I'll tell you what, I'll go over a little of this just to get to the point. Khazaria. That's where these people are Khazars. So when IA is at the end of a name, it means the land of. So Khazaria is the land of the Khazars. Just to make it short and sweet. And in this land, there was a lot of Jewish people that were coming there. Now, these were not necessarily the real Jews, but the Edomite converts that had become Jews. And they were convincing all these people to convert to Judaism, according to this book. I mean, and they even, oh man, these books, they tell you about it, but they even said in this book, the Jews, a study of race and environment, these fair-haired Jews created a problem for anthropologists. It is a question whence these Indo-Germanic Jews, as Virchow called them, have found their way into the midst of a dark-complexioned race like the Jews. So they know. They've been knowing. But I'm going to skip... So they were European, short, stocky. They could have been tall. There's a lot. Let me just get to, where's it at? So more recently, because we've talked about this before, Andrus Rona Tas connected Khazar with the ancient Roman title Caesar. We talked about that. It's not Caesar. It's Khazar. And you brought up Rome. This title in turn derived from the Latin name Julius Caesar. The word Khazar was transmitted to the Turks via the Persians. In a Middle Persian, the name took the form Khazar. Dan Shapiro occurred with Rona Tasley's analysis. So just to give you another source on that, Fossilized Customs, of course, by Lou White. He says the names were taken from among pagan peoples who honored their deities by calling the days by the days of their idols, sun day. From Latin, dies solis, the day of the sun. Since Babylon was established, pagans have worshipped the sun. Here's a few of the names they use: Baal, Baal, Shamash, Moloch, Ahura, Mazda, Dagon, Sol, Marduk, Mithras, Krishna, Amun-Ra, Aten, Woden, Zeus, Dios, the Druid Teutonic god. You may recall that the Pharaoh and the Khazar, you see how it says Caesar, Khazar, Czar, were, and even if you look in the Blue Letter Bible app, if you pull up that word, it's going to say Khazar. So, Khazar, right? Then it says, it's translated Khazar 30 times, and it means severed, right? And it became a title of all the Roman emperors, just like they said. So then in the 12th edition, it talks about the deadly beast wound, right, that was healed. After Constantine's action of moving the head of the Roman Empire to Constantinople, the empire faded into what is called the Byzantine Empire. Rome was in ruins, wounded to death by the 6th century. The bishop at Rome was regarded more highly than any other by reputation, simply because the name Rome was a profoundly stirring one. During the 7th century, the bishop of Rome took on the Mithraic title Pope or Papa. The title Pontifex Maximus was also bestowed on him. The Khazar's title, Khazar, not Caesar, is also spelled Czar and Khazar. By the end of the 8th century, Rome was resurrected back to life in the leadership office of the Papa or Pope, and in the year 800, this bishop crowned King Charlemagne the defender of the faith and announced the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire or First Reich. This remained intact for 1,000 years, right? Now, the last little tidbit, because I skipped a bunch. So the connection with, it was called Khazaria, right? And we know that Caesar was really Khazar. So why would you have, in the Bible, why would you have a place called Khazaria? Or they try to say Caesarea, right? So there was one place in the Bible, well, there's several places in the Bible where you see Caesarea, right? It's G2542, right? It's either Caesarea of Palestine or Caesarea of Philippi, two different places. So that was like, well, who built the city of Caesarea? Philippi. Just wanted to know, right? So again, Caesarea Philippi is still the same word. It's the same exact word for Khazar. And Caesarea Philippi was situated at the foot of Lebanon near the sources of the Jordan Galantis and formerly called Paneas, but afterward being rebuilt by Philip the Tetrarch, it was called by him Khazaria in Israel, in honor of Tiberius Khazar, subsequently called Neronius by Agrippa II in honor of Nero. So then I was like, well, who was Philip the Tetrarch? Do y'all know? So this is how tricky Google is. So I asked Google, was Philip the Tetrarch an Edomite? No, Philip the Tetrarch was not an Edomite. He was the son of Herod the Great. Does that make sense to you? He was the son of Herod the Great and Cleopatra of Jerusalem, so she was a Jew. They're going through the line of their mother, so that's why they're claiming that he's not an Edomite, but he was. So there was an Edomite that made Caesarea of Philippi, which is actually Khazaria. One of two Khazarias in Israel, in the land of Judah. I was like, that's interesting. So then I was like, well, because his father was Herod the Great, I just Googled just to make sure Herod the Great was an Edomite. He was, duh. So the second place was called Caesarea of Palestine, right? And Caesarea of Palestine was actually built by Herod the Great. So why are Edomites making Khazaria? They made two different lands that were called Khazaria in our land. And then later on you see Khazaria as a distinct place way off, I guess in Europe later. I don't really believe in coincidences, but that's just me. And then even in this book, it literally tells you that Herod made Khazaria. So I was like, why? What is the infatuation with Khazaria, with the Khazars? And it's the Edomites that's creating it.
Because it's their people. Because it goes, what was the last week we was learning? Last week when we learned about the Khazars, that was, you said they went back to Ham, right?
No, Khazars are Mongoloid, right? So,
Mongoloid is what they were.
right. So they're mixed people. So they try to say that they're of Turkish stock, which, according to Facts Are Facts, I think he said he estimated about 95% of the people are of Turkish stock, and then other estimates say about 92% is what they claim.
Cause they tracked it all the way back to Asia, right?
Mhm.
They got kicked out of Asia.
They got kicked out of Asia. Yep.
And they said it was the Mongoloid people. That was considered Mongoloid.
Right, which means they were a mixed group. So again, Esau's just behind the scenes, and again, it was just interesting to me that there's two places called Khazaria in the land of Israel way back then, and most people don't even realize that. Like, Khazaria was in the land of Israel, but they were made by Edomites. Then there was a Khazaria in the 6th or 7th century later.
So it sound like Esau, like you say, he mixing.
Confusing, man. But we'll stop there.
For years.
That's good. Will you press out?
Heavenly Father, I want to say thank you once again. Thank you for this word, this knowledge, this teaching, Heavenly Father. Let us use it on our everyday living and pay attention to what's coming down the pipe, Heavenly Father. We know that we are in your hands and you are our Elohim. We love you, we praise you, we lift you up, we magnify your holy and righteous name. Forgive us for all our sins, we pray. Amen.
Come on. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and share, and as always, Shalom, tribe.
Whoa.